Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 8 of New York and Beyond with me, Christina Kremidas. And in this episode, we are talking all about manifestation. So stay tuned, we're covering everything here. Welcome back, guys. I have been excited to share today's guest with you for a very long time. Her name is Lizel Zeager, and she is a manifestation and life purpose coach. You may have already seen Lizelle on Instagram at her handle How to Manifest. She shares aspirational videos on her social media that are so valuable, and she also offers professional coaching and manifestation mentorship. She teaches about manifesting your life's purpose, as well as the law of attraction and energy. She's so cool, guys. I'm about to bring her in quickly before I bring in Lizelle. Reminder to make sure that you guys are subscribed. If you do like this content, whether you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, the algorithm gods will see that you've liked the channel and it will recommend the content to more people. And ultimately the goal is to reach as many people as possible, because this is such valuable information that we cover on this show. New York and Beyond strives to help us live our fullest lives by putting us directly in touch with experts in various industries so that we can continue on this culture of continual learning, constantly opening our minds, and making sure that we're growing, staying creative, and staying happy. So with that said, let's bring in Lizelle. Hi, Lizelle.
Hi, Christina. Aloha from Hawaii.
So happy to have you on today. This is so amazing what we are about to cover in this episode. So I'm not going to waste any time before we get to jump right in. Can you please take this opportunity to introduce yourself to the audience and let them know exactly what you do and how did you find yourself in this calling?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Lizel Zeager. I live in Kailua in Hawaii. Yes, I live on the islands in the middle of the ocean, and I am just having a great time out here. I have my 3 kids, my twin boys, Caleb and Jaden. They're 3 years old, and my baby girl, Ellie, she's 1, and my husband, Jason. So we are just out here, this little pod. All of our friends and family are still on the mainland. We're all originally from California. Well, me and Jason are from California. The kids were born here. And I'm a manifestation coach. I help people manifest their dream life, and I help them level up in their business, in their relationships, in their finances, whatever it is that it is for that person that brings them closer to their dream life. I help them move forward along that path. And the way that I found myself in this position, or in this world, actually, I knew that from a young age that I was here to help people. And so I would work in customer service jobs. I was working in the hospitals. I was actually an occupational therapist. I got my master's degree in occupational therapy. And so I've just been helping people my entire life. And it wasn't until I was 34, I think, where I realized I was wearing my scrubs. I was in work as an occupational therapist in the hospitals and skilled nursing. And I thought, there has to be more. Like, I was happy with what I was doing. I was getting paid really well. Everybody was really nice. I loved what I did, except there was more that I could do to help people. And in that environment of the Western medical field, there were so many limitations as a therapist as to how I could help others. And me, like, wanting to help the world and help people manifest their dream life, like when they're stuck in the bed and they're over medicated, there's only so much I could do. So I made a choice to just follow my heart. Hawaii's been calling me for like 17 years at that point. And my husband and I said, okay, you know what? Let's just sell the house. We had a nice house. Oh my gosh, Christina, we had a nice house in Orange County in the hills. We had our luxury cars. I'm getting chills because I miss my I'm thinking about it now. I miss my my convertible mini stick shift car. So beautiful. Gave it up. He got rid of his Beamer. We bought a 4Runner to go off-roading when we moved to Hawaii, and we sold our house, sold everything, all our stuff, moved to the islands with that 4Runner, the off-roading 4Runner, our little Yorkie, and 6 bags.
I am like freaking out. That's quite a story. Oh my God, that takes a lot of courage.
It did. And at the same time, it was also like, well, we were literally called to this place. And I know that, like, for some of you who are listening right now, you probably feel like you're not in a place where you're supposed to be right now. Like, you feel like another place on the planet is calling you, or another job, or another maybe romantic partner. But there's like a hesitation. And I'm here to tell you, like, that thing that's calling you, it's your higher self that's saying, like, here, go here, or here, talk to this person, or here, check this job opportunity out. Like, that's you calling yourself. And when you can get through that and just, know that that's meant for you, like, just do it and just watch what unfolds. Because what unfolded after moving to Hawaii was, I discovered who I truly was. I discovered that I could be a mom. I had twins here. I got pregnant here, and the twins came here, and it was just amazing. And after that, like, after becoming a mom, I leveled up as a coach. I leveled up as a leader. I leveled up as a woman. I leveled up into, like, future Lizelle, which is who I've been wanting to be. And now I'm her. And now there's another future version that I keep moving forward to. And so I feel like the calling found me because I was just living my life. And then I just followed the signs, and now I'm talking to you, Christina.
How truly amazing. And I have seen, it's funny, like, I don't want to say ironically because there are no coincidences, but I have seen like a few other stories on social media lately where people explain, like, they just felt called to move somewhere different. And like, interestingly enough, like, that's when their life, like, it unfolds, like, not that it gets started because you obviously had a life before, but it's just like they just felt like everything was able to flow more naturally. So interesting. I feel like my husband and I have a place that we both resonate with so strongly, and every time we go and visit, we're like, do you feel that? Like, why do we feel like this is like our place, So I feel like you never know where you're going to end up down the road, like once you let, the universe take the wheel, so to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I think is so amazing about your content and about your expertise and about what you talk about is really the level at which you know what you're talking about, but also how genuine you are is really, and it's so authentic and it's so genuine. And that's what really resonates with me, because there are a lot of people online talking about similar things. And it's very easy to kind of look at this content and say, like, this is just another person with the same story, or, people don't believe that there is, the ability to manifest, or they think it's just, like the same narrative. But the way you talk about it and the stories that you have to share really shows that there is more to it than just, the fluffy things that people might think are fake, honestly.
Right.
And that's what I love about you. That's why you are here with us. And we are going to enlighten our audience, and I'm so excited. So I would love to, like, whet our audience's appetite and have you share with us the most profound experience that you've had with manifesting.
Oh, this is such a good question because I could say so many things, but I'm going to actually share the first story that I had, and that, like, kicked off everything. And this happened before I met my husband. And I was, I don't know, mid-late 20s, and I was in a terrible, oh my God, I was in a terrible relationship. Like, the worst, okay? Girls, you know what I'm talking about. It was terrible. He was, I'm not even going to go into it, but basically the way that it ended. So I'm nice, right? I'm so nice. And this was a long distance relationship. And he gave me like a promise ring thing. He gave me a promise ring, and it was like nice, but he was like far away, and I was, doing my thing, and I was in grad school. And I broke up with him because he was so emotionally, like, draining to me. And I just, there was a moment I was like, okay, Lizelle, like, you can't keep doing this because you have a career to create. You have a life to build. And this dude is, like, just trying to get your energy all the time. And this is before I was really spiritual into any of this stuff. I just told myself, like, I can't keep giving my energy away to this guy. He doesn't even really know who I am. He lives so far away, right? And I was like, okay, well, I'm breaking up with you. And he couldn't handle it. And he got crazy. And basically a month or so later, I was in finals, and he was texting me from another phone. He pretended that he died. Okay. He got his like cousin's phone or somebody and was like trying to get me to like tell them where I was, tell them where he was. Okay.
I'm shook. I'm shook right now. I'm shook right now.
It's terrible. And he basically tried to make me feel guilty for breaking up with him so that he killed himself. Uh-huh. And I knew like that I didn't do anything, right? I knew that I broke up with him. Like this has nothing to do with me. If he did kill himself, that's on him. And that was like, I didn't talk to him, right? And I'm like, okay, this is like the worst thing ever. About a week or so after that, I found out / realized like, yeah, that was just him getting other people's phones, trying to get the promise ring back.
I am so stressed out right now. Like this, I'm just stressing for this story.
Okay. So I'm like, this is not okay. And of course, I exchanged that ring for like, I don't know, $75 or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, girl, me to myself. Okay, girl, we have to get serious with like what kind of love you want in your life. We have to get like really clear with like what kind of guy you want, because up until this point, I've just been like, you know, I'll go to the bar, or like I'll meet somebody random at a place, like, oh, this is so great. Oh yeah, let's hang out. But I was never intentional with it. So I said, okay, Lizelle, let's get really intentional. So I took a notebook and I wrote at the top of my list, my man list. And I listed all the characteristics I wanted. It didn't matter if he existed or not. If you ever watched the movie Hocus Pocus, I got my inspiration from there. Mm-hmm. And I just did all the things: his height, his ethnicity, his eye color, his hobbies, what he did, what he loved to do. He loved to travel. One thing that was bonus was he speaks another language, and another bonus was he played a musical instrument. He has a great relationship with his parents. He loves to travel. So I did all of these things, and I looked at my list and I was like, that felt really good. And I knew I was 9 at the time. And I said, okay, we're going to stay single until you're 30 because you just need this time for yourself. And I knew that when I turned 30, I'm probably going to meet the guy of my dreams. So I'm just going to take this time to be about myself. So 29 is done. I'm 30 now. And I'm like, whoa, this is great. And I'm working in a field work session with some girls in a hospital facility place. And they're dating guys. So it's the three of us. So they're dating and I'm not. And they're saying, oh, he texted me. What do I say? Oh, we did this last night. Oh, and I'm texting. And I'm kind of contributing. But I'm like, I need to like contribute with my own love life thing. So let's see what kind of guy I could bring into this like little mix here. And we go to lunch and at a Chinese restaurant. And the fortune cookie says something like, it's time to move forward with your like love relationship or something. And I was like, oh, girls, look what I got. And they both said, now you have to make your profile on eHarmony. I was like, oh my God. Okay, because I said that was the way I was going to do it. And then I did it. And then a month later, I found Jason.
And Jason met all of the boxes that you were outlining for yourself in your man list?
He did. And the way that I found out was when we were moving out of our big house in Orange County to move to Hawaii. I was going through the journals of everything. Like, are we keeping this? Are we tossing this? Are we donating? Right? When we were getting rid of everything. I came across that paper and I read it through. And it was Jason to the T.
Whoa.
And I was like laughing and like I was in shock and I was laughing because this list I wrote before I met him. And the first time I saw it after was when I had already married him, when we had already chosen to move to Hawaii, when we had already chosen to live like location independent. And it's everything. And the funny thing is, this is why it's so profound for me, is those bonuses of speaking another language and playing an instrument, he doesn't do.
Really?
Yeah. So I realized, oh, I need to get really clear. Like if I really wanted him to speak another language, I had to put it like in my required.
In the mandatories. Like it needs to be a mandatory.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So yeah. So when I think of manifesting, it's like you just have to be in that space of not caring if it exists or not, but
Right.
actually creating it from your heart and from your intention. And then it shows up.
The interesting thing that I found with manifesting in my own life, and I hear when people describe their experiences of realizing that their manifestation has manifested, I guess I could say. The interesting thing that I notice is that very often, and personally, this is what's happened to me as well, you actually don't realize it's not like it's happening and you're like, whoa, this is going just how I manifested. It's kind of like you manifest it, you know that it'll happen in divine timing. And then you look back later in a new situation and you realize that down to the last visual detail, it's happened for you and you don't realize it at the time. Like it's like when you're buying the house, you're not like, oh my God, it's checking every box. Like that somehow, I don't know why, but you buy the house and then like a year later, you're like, whoa, that was exact. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why that happens. I really don't.
Question.
Right? But do you notice that too?
Yeah. And yes, that's how it started for me. And then now there's moments when I'm like, just like something random will show up and I'll be like, oh, I manifested that. And
Right.
it's taking ownership for it, where the more you manifest consciously and intentionally and love what you're doing and love what you're calling in, you're going to see it faster and you're going to realize like, oh, I did that. Oh yeah, I manifested that.
Yeah.
Fun and practice. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's definitely a mindset that when you get used to like planning ahead, sort of, so to say, for like what you picture wanting, it becomes like every little decision. We don't realize how many decisions we make every day, but it almost seems like when you have a clear vision of where you want to end up, all of those little decisions that you make along the way are getting you closer to that visualization. You almost have like an end goal in mind. Whereas if you don't, then you don't really know how each decision is, maybe it's taking you left and then right and then left and then right again, instead of just going like left, 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 because you know that that's the answer. It's very interesting.
Yes.
And I think that's an interesting thing for people who have very logical minds to think about it, right? Almost like you don't have to believe in like the magic of it necessarily if you want to just make it like a series of decisions, right?
Right.
Yeah. I love that. I try to like add that little bit only because I know that I have a very logical like mindset sort of, and sometimes I can be very skeptical, but I feel like especially with your content, seeing your content and seeing how things have happened for me, that's kind of how I like to describe it,
Yeah.
What's the difference between manifesting and prayer?
I love this. And I feel like this is a very edgy question because this can step on so many people's toes. And if you are someone who's very religious and prays all the time and really, really believes in that, like keep going. Okay. Just know that what I'm about to say is my perspective. So also with a background, let me just give you a little background. I grew up Roman Catholic. So I grew up praying, since I was 5 years old or less. And here's what I see prayer. I'll start with prayer and then manifesting. So prayer to me means, asking God for, the love, all the energy, like the goodness, and either bringing it to myself or giving it to the world or giving it to somebody. Like when you pray for somebody, right? It's like kind of directing God's energy that way, or God's love, or Jesus, right? And it's kind of just like all the powers coming through him, them, he, and down, and then to that person or down here. Okay. And prayer is all about connecting to that energy and, kind of directing it. Also, like honoring it, right? And also, Mary and all the saints and all of those. The difference between prayer and manifesting, though, is prayer to me, it's the power lies in God and over there. Okay. With manifesting, the power lies within you. You have the power, you have the access. And it is by also connecting to the idea that, okay, I grew up Catholic, okay, so we're made in God's image. So what's the difference between God and us? Why do we have to continue giving our power away to him, them, it, instead of accessing our own if we're made in the same image? So to me, it's just taking ownership of the love and the light and the power that you have within yourself, and then using that to create more good in the world.
Okay, this is very interesting. I definitely see and relate to parts of what you're saying. And I think it's a very interesting question because I think that people who are raised with religion may hesitate to buy into the manifestation or these other spiritual ways of getting in touch with our energy because of just, like what you mentioned. So I think what you said is interesting. Like you kind of, and that's something that I feel sometimes when I'm praying is sometimes it will feel like I'm like asking or like I can't, make it myself. But then there is also this, and yeah, like if you experience an accomplishment, you're told to, you obviously thank God, right? Whereas, what about what you did, to get to that? But then I also think that there is too like an interconnectedness between us and like divine energy and or source energy or God or whatever you want to call it, right? And it's almost like we are so interconnected that I do feel like I do feel that I am pulling that energy from the source that without it, I don't know if I would have it on my own, So I think it's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. Well, the thing with, growing up in a religion is there is separation involved, right? So there's things that are right, there's things that are wrong, there's things that you should do, there's things that you shouldn't do. For some religions, men go over there, women go over here. There's certain times that you should, need to, have to, and all of that stuff. If you take those, I'm just going to rules over there, we're left with like human, like just us on this planet. And religion gives us, and prayer, it gives us a structure to connect. And also it's not the only way, because we see that there's many different religions around the world, right? And there's different ways to, connect. So for me, it's just take the separation off. You're still left with the pieces, but the energy and the access is still there, except you just don't need the structure. You can make it your own.
I like that.
So that's where you can get creative as the powerful manifestor, as the creator of your life, just like God was the creator of the universe. We share the same thing. So if he's the creator of that universe, we can be the creator of our own and still be a part of his.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say it like that. I do agree. And it's interesting because there are certain things that if I desire, or if there are certain things I would like to be a part of or accomplish or bring to the world, there are times when I will sit and manifest or sit and meditate. And there are times where I will directly pray. It's sort of like what you need at the time.
Exactly.
It's interesting, right? Like you don't, it's not always the same process. Yeah. And I think that that's just really so interesting too. And I agree as well, as far as, and this actually episode 7, the episode right before this one, I speak to experts who are also very, very spiritual. And we did talk briefly about how religion is very powerful because it can bring people together in an immense way, but also divide people in an immense way. And yeah, there is some like dogma involved and things of that nature that sometimes you question, is it getting me closer or further away? So I think these are all just like very interesting topics to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is great because conversations like this allow people to question their beliefs and question how they grew up, and give them the choice as to continue that way or add a new layer or create something new. And in this time of, 2021, 2022, when there's a lot of energy shifting in the world, there's a lot of uncertainty. So when we can create that certainty within ourselves, it gives us more confidence to move forward.
Yeah. And even there are, spirit, like even spiritual healers that do align to a certain religion will say, if that prayer doesn't align with you, change the words. Like
Yeah.
you can make it your own. It shouldn't be a blocker.
Right. Yeah.
I just think it's all so interesting. So could you share with us how affirmations and mantras work to developing a dream life or a certain desire?
Yeah. Okay. So affirmations and mantras. So they're both things that come out of our mouth. Affirmations are statements of positive energy that help us create more positive beliefs that support what we want to do. And whereas mantras are like sounds or syllables or statements that we can repeat in a meditation or just in life to ground us and bring us back to center. So the way an affirmation works is it's actually using your body, your voice as a tool to help confirm what you're doing and where you're going. So an example of an affirmation is that I love. I'll just share this one with you. I got this from Abraham Hicks, and it is, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. And whenever I come up to a situation, whether, it's with the kids or with my husband or with like client work, or maybe I'm driving and like there's crazy traffic or something, I'll catch the voices, those voices. And I'll say, everything is always working out for me. And I could be really frustrated when I say it, but as soon as I say it, it gives me a sense of relief. And affirming that everything is always working out for me lets me relax in the moment and just know that everything's taken care of. So that's one of my favorite affirmations. Other ones that I do for myself in the mirror are things like, I am amazing, I am inspirational, I am an awesome mom, I'm a beautiful woman, I am a leader. Just saying I ams to confirm what you're doing and who you are and who you're becoming. Mantras, I know that a lot of people use them. I personally don't. And again, just like prayer, you want to just create it for yourself. Whatever feels good to you, do that. You can do prayer beads and all these other things. But one mantra that's very popular is Om. And that's just all about coming back to center and just, all is one. And you can take your bead and just go Om as you breathe, go to the next bead. And the Oming allows your monkey mind to just stay on the sidelines while you can stay focused on your meditation, on your prayer of this centering exercise that you're doing for yourself.
Very interesting. Thank you for that. And I do notice too, can you share the importance of saying something not just in your head, but out loud?
Oh, yeah. So if you know Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks a lot about shifting your energy, shifting your belief, shifting everything, because everything happens in the present moment. So when we can use our own mouth to speak out these affirmations and these truths, let's say, your ears hear your voice saying it. And then your brain picks up that it's you saying this. So then you actually would bring your brain like on your team, like on your train with you, and you wouldn't be fighting your brain as much. So an example is, let's say I look in the mirror and I hear, who do you think you are? You're not good enough. What makes you think you can make 6 figures this year? Your kids are crying. You suck as a mom, like all that stuff. Well, if those voices are just in there. If I'm out here saying, I am amazing, I am an inspiration, I am a leader, I am an amazing mom, then my actual physical voice also penetrates the physical realm, whereas the monkey mind is only up here. It also goes through there, it goes through the physical, which is the 3D, it goes through the emotional because I'm shifting my state, and then it goes through the mental realm. So it's like multiple levels, multiple dimensions of what I truly want versus just the haters up in the head. And when you use your voice, you can use that as a tool to really, really help yourself shift instantly.
Yes. The more reading and podcasts that I listen to that have to do with this and the importance of saying things out loud, everything out of our mouths should be positive. Like nothing negative should leave our mouths ever, because those negative words have a lot of power too, right?
Yes, everything. We are the creator. So when you say things like, I suck, you're creating that. So what I say is I say, cancel, cancel, cancel. Tell everybody, I didn't mean that. That was an accident. And then I say, I'm learning a new task. Like, oh, my journey is amazing versus I suck, right? Cancel, cancel, cancel. And you're training yourself to become future you, and you're allowing the world to allow you to become future you.
Okay. I'm so glad that you said that you say cancel out loud, because I will literally, like, okay, my husband thinks I have like a severe case of OCD, and I might, but I will tell someone to take back what they said. Like, I'll tell, if my husband says something negative, I will literally not be able to sleep until he takes it back. He has to say, I take it back. Because if he doesn't, that word is like, they're like, those words are like lingering somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, you have to say out loud that you did not mean that, and that you take it back, and then you need to like say something else instead. Like, my husband, like, he's like, he gets so mad because he thinks that I'm trying to do like a psychological exercise, or he thinks that I'm just having OCD and like putting it on him to like actually make him help me out with it, which I don't know, but all I know is that you just said the same thing. So
yeah.
So
keep going.
So I'm not like crazy.
No.
Right?
No. And actually, I learned this from Lisa Nichols. If you know who Lisa Nichols is. Yeah. She was one of the first people I ever came across. This was in 2000, I'm going to say 14 or 15. No, after that. Probably 2015, 16. And I listened to her book, No Matter What.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about cancel. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really good. I'm going to take that.
So interesting. This is why I love having these conversations. And this is why I love educating myself on this stuff, because I feel, and I think a lot of people are going to relate to this too. Intuitively, some things feel right. And if you're the kind of person that is able to have, like, to feel when something feels right versus feels wrong, you are an intuitive person, and you can grow this skill. I'm on a mission to grow this skill. And I want to help. I mean, that's one of the things that we talk about on the show. We talk about everything on this show. But it's a big part of this show, because we have a lot of power and we can unlock it, you know, for the good.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm loving this conversation. Thank you so much for it. This is just so intriguing to me and the audience. The audience loves this too. Yeah, it's just so cool. So can you explain the mindset though as well? I mean, I feel like this is so important too. What's the mindset that you have to be in while manifesting to notice the truest benefit? Like, firstly, do we need to be like in that meditative state that we talk about? Because that's sometimes a blocker for people, because they're like, I don't know how to get to that place.
Yeah.
And the second part of the question is the concept of needing to actually believe that your manifestation has already occurred and that you are just yet to see it. You are just yet to realize it. Those are two big things that I feel people have a really hard time wrapping their mind around. Me too, honestly.
Okay.
Can you help us with that?
Yes, I'd love to. Okay. Okay, so first, everybody who's listening, and Christina and me, we're going to take a breath, just a really big breath. Okay, so we're going to go in through the nose, just breathe it all in. And then exhale out the mouth. And then just for fun, we're going to do a second breath. So in through the nose. And release out the mouth. See that moment that just happened? It's like right after you exhale, there's nothing. It's like when you throw a pebble into the water and you see the ripples, and then you wait until the ripples disappear and then it becomes flat again. That's the space that you can easily get to with 2 breaths that will call in and allow everything you want to manifest to happen. It's that stillness and that expression of you just being who you are in that moment. That's where the magic is. You don't have to believe it. All you have to do is take 2 breaths and notice. And that's the state, okay? knowing that you can access that moment is all you need to change your life. So I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to say thank you, but keep going.
You're welcome. Yes. So the mindset of manifestation is really allowing yourself to believe and know that you can create anything that you want. There is information that we grew up with, all of us here. If you were born in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, I'm going to say 2000 is when your parents started giving you their stuff. But if you were born, back then, we were in a world before like the internet, before social media, before all that stuff. And we thought this is how life is. Okay. Come 2000 and, beyond, it's like, oh, this is what the world is becoming. And now that it's 2021 and beyond, it's now we are creating the new world. So understand that if you're listening to this conversation right now, you are part of this movement of people who are creating this new world. And in order to really believe that you can have what you want, you have to first understand that piece. After that, it is giving yourself, like looking at your future as if it's like a whiteboard, and knowing that you have the marker and you can create anything, and then you could change your mind, and then you can create something bigger and better, and then you could wipe it and you can make something else, and then you could bring in other people, and you could bring in your dreams, and you could bring in your heart, and it's all good. And guess what? You can change your mind and you can make it even bigger and better and brighter and shinier, and there's no limits. There really are no limits, because look what's happened to the world in the last, 5-10 years. It's only going to get bigger and more expansive. Like, look at crypto. Like, what is that, right? Look at the internet and social media. What is TikTok? What is Instagram? Like, what are these things? Like, these didn't exist. And now, the minute something happens, boom, like, what is Elon Musk doing to the world, okay? So we have to take on that understanding that we are part of this. We are all a part of this. And I kind of feel like I'm activating you guys, but we are a part of this. And it is our responsibility, knowing now how powerful we are, to help others remember how powerful they are.
Thank you so much. I feel like you really come from a place of empowerment for us. And I love that a lot. I love that so much. And something that I felt when you told us to take those breaths, I was taking them along with you. And I really did honestly feel like really more, like significantly more peaceful after taking just 2 breaths, which I don't do often.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because at the end of that second breath, when we started to have that peaceful moment, I felt like a very strong feeling of gratitude, almost like, look at us, like what day is it? Like, it's a Tuesday. And we're able to just take this deep breath right now and just take a minute for ourselves, like wherever someone is, wherever anyone in our audience right now is listening to this or watching. You had a moment in your day where you were able to just take like a couple of deep breaths, and like, who's better than you? Like, we're doing this on a Tuesday. This is like amazing. Yeah. And I feel like that's something that I love tuning into your Instagram lives, because you helped me get there sometimes faster than I'm able to like get there myself, even on like a guided meditation that I'm listening to. So I just love that. I feel like you have that ability, just like you are so reassuring and you're so empowering, that I feel like it's more effective when I'm watching you do it along with me. So I love that. So guys, I wanted to just remind our audience midway through, your Instagram handle is How to Manifest. And I recommend that everyone check out Lizelle's Instagram, because you do these Instagram lives fairly often. You did an angel tarot card reading the other day that I was a part of, and not that I was a part of, but I watched. And yeah, just a lot of useful content that I greatly appreciate what you bring to us for free on Instagram. It's just so amazing and so helpful. So that was just like, I just felt the need to like plug that right there, just because if anyone is going somewhere and doesn't tune into the very, very end where we mention that, I think it's important that everyone just go, follow you and check that out. But thank you so much for that explanation. I feel like that was that was just so helpful as well to just what, it's easier than we think, to like get to a place where we can make a real difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is easier than we think, because manifesting and creating this way is actually above the mind. It's past the mind. And so our minds can't grasp it because it's actually outside of it.
Yeah. I think, yeah. And I think it's a very important point that you make too, when you say, look at this, look at that, like, look at these changes, look at, social media, look at Elon Musk, like these changes that are happening and these people that are driving these changes are no different than us. I mean, you look at people, we look at people that are like big on social media and we think like, oh my God, they've got it all together. But, they have the same doubts and issues as we all do. I think that's an important thing to remember that I love that you bring up too. It's like we're all just as powerful as the next person.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all made in God's image, right? We're just here. We're just all here in our own little bodies experiencing this world from our very limited perspective. And it's conversations like this where we get to share our perspective. We get to learn, we get to grow, like, oh, that's what she's seen. Oh, that's what she's experienced. Oh, very cool. And how about you? And we get to learn more about what we can do by sharing and talking and having conversations just like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you mentioned it a little bit when you talk about the mindset to be in to have your manifestation be more successful, but could you just reiterate for us like the damage that we do with self-doubt and why, like those things that prevent us from being able to successfully manifest our lives and what we can do, because I think it's human nature to doubt. So can you give us some useful strategies for how to overcome that, kind of like cancel out that inner doubt that we all have?
Yeah, actually there's a couple of things. So one thing I'll share with you is a tool or like a perspective to look at the world and our mind and those voices. And then I'll give you an exercise that I learned actually from Dr. Joe very recently. He posted this. And the first thing is, okay, first let me share my understanding of like how we're here. So I know for myself, I know that we all came here to this planet to do some good. Like we're all here to do something and we're here to do it together. Okay. If we were meant to be alone and be isolated, like we wouldn't be on this planet with a billion other people who are just like us. So knowing that we came here with a purpose is our like infinite like spiritual like thing. And when we came to this planet, we got these bodies, these physical bodies that we can see, smell, taste, hear, touch, right? So very physical. And what comes with the physical body is our mind. And what comes with our mind is this character called the ego. And the ego is all about keeping us safe, right? Run from the saber-toothed tiger, stay away from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, go hide in the cave, right? That's our instinct. That's what's hammered and built and written into our physical DNA. Well, we have our physical world, right, which comes with the doubts and the criticizing ourselves and all those things. And then we have this infinite side of us where we know the powerful creator. So this is where things get funny when we're manifesting. First, you have to tell yourself, okay, I have these voices. We all have these voices. So what are these voices trying to do? Look at the doubt. What is the doubt telling us? The doubt is telling us that, oh, it doesn't think that you can, that you can make six figures. It doesn't think that you can succeed in your job. Oh, it doesn't think that you can actually manifest the love that you want. And what's the benefit of that is you stay that person. You stay in that box, you stay in that job, you stay in that space. And the physical body, the ego, the mind, they love that because that's safe for them. That's the cave. But you as the infinite spiritual creator, you're like, well, I want to do this and I'm here to do this. Well, this is where you get to step into that infinite spiritual being and allow the doubt to be there because it's there to keep you safe, but without really dumping on your parade. So this is where the inner work happens. If we allow the self-doubt and the self-sabotage to dump on our parade, then we give our power away to the physical, to the limits. And that's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is allow the doubts to be there. Okay. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, okay. Thank you. I see what you're saying. I know you want me to stay here. I know you want me to stay safe. But you know what? I'm going to go over there. And hey, if you want to come join me, you can watch what I'm doing. And then you can support me over there. And it's having a conversation with yourself, knowing that if you let the doubt take over, you're going to stay small. But once you acknowledge the doubt for what it's doing, you take your power back and you let them join you. You let the doubts celebrate with you. Even if they're not, wearing the party hat and stuff, they're still going to be on your team. But you have to remember that they're going to be with you as long as you're living in your physical body, because that's what came with the package. So I hope that helps kind of unravel some of this invisible stuff. This is the inner work where, yes, we have these doubts and these voices, but also you're so much more powerful than anybody else has ever told you. So you actually have the choice to bring those voices with you as your little entourage as you move forward.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. That was really awesome, because I think it helps us realize that those doubtful thoughts that we have, they're not true.
Correct. You're right. They're not.
They're like it's like being afraid of the dark, right?
Exactly. There's a saber-toothed tiger. You're going to run. You're going to go to the cave and you're going to be there. Or, yeah, you're afraid of the dark. Okay, hide under the blanket. I'm not going to do anything, right?
Okay, that just put 2 and 2 together for me, and I found it so interesting, because our self-doubt, sometimes you really do believe it, honestly. It's like, who do I think I am? Like, why is that going to be me? Like, do I, and I think that it's very interesting to realize that those doubts are coming from a primal safety mechanism.
Yes.
And they are as real as a fear of the dark.
Yes.
Like, yeah, in reality, nowadays, there's nothing in our apartments that's gonna jump out at us in the dark. But we're still afraid of the dark. I mean, not gonna lie, I run to the bathroom at night. I'm not gonna lie to you. If the lights are off, and I'm gonna run right back into my bed. But I know it's not real, though. So, wow, that was just such a really interesting way to go about it, because I think we all struggle with doubt, and the fact that you can, and I've heard it before, accept those thoughts, you're never going to not have them. But I think that the way you put it makes it a lot easier to be like, okay, thank you. You are there, yes. But you're also coming from a place that is strictly physical. It's a primal safety mechanism. Was really unbelievable. Thank you.
You're welcome. You got it.
Okay. This is just so amazing. Okay. So for a beginner that wants to start out, that feels like they don't really have much experience with this, and they don't really know exactly where to start, if they could do one thing today to begin their journey, what would you say for them to do?
Oh, okay. A beginner, so somebody who's not really doesn't really call themselves spiritual, or say that they're a manifestation queen or something, but they do want to start moving in that direction. Okay. There's so many things. Well, first, okay, there's 2 things. One of them is do the exercise that we just did together, which is breathing. And see, that's another cancel. When you allow yourself to connect with your breath in that way, instead of just, oh yeah, my lungs work, oh, my heart's beating, but no, actually not controlling it, right? Guiding it. Okay, so guiding yourself, breathing, and then exhaling. That's you. And being able to start with you like that, once you can really practice and feel good with that, then you can start expanding out. The problem that actually a lot of beginners are doing is they're trying to control the outside when they have no idea what's going on inside. And so the confused energy that they have in their body, they're putting it out there into the world, and then they're getting really funny results that they're not looking for. It's because the energy that they're creating it with is not aligned. So for a beginner, I will say, focus on your breath. And I'm going to give you one of the tools that I learned actually too. And it is this. You can do this at a red light. You can do this while you're heating something up. You can do this when you're in an elevator. You can do this on an escalator. You can do this anywhere. It takes like 3.5 seconds. All you do is when you breathe, you're going to focus on the air that's coming into your nose. You're just going to focus on it and notice that it's going in your nose and into your lungs. You just watch it. And then when you exhale, you're going to notice the difference in temperature when it leaves your nostrils. And that's going to bring you to that state and also give you the opportunity to look and see if what you're seeing or what you're thinking about is actually true. And the real you gets to come out in that moment and make those choices.
Wow. I can't wait to actually, like, once we hang up and I'm back to like my crazy like whirlwind day, I'm going to intentionally just take a second and do that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I started with, because this is this is before I was manifesting and consciously, before I was getting into spirituality, anything. I heard that advice and I thought, that's so simple, but people say you have to meditate 20 minutes a day. You have to have your mala beads. You have to have your crystals and all these things. And I was like, I could just do it with my breath. And he's a family friend. He's like, yeah, just start there. And I said, okay.
That's so interesting. And again, so accessible and fast. I like anything fast, honestly. That is like the meditation that I tend to do is a guided one, and it's like 25 minutes long at least. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, I really don't have time to work this in, which is terrible. Right. I do have time. It's just all about how you use it, right? Like time is like closet space. That's like how I see it. You're always going to use every last inch, right? It's just like, what are you going to use it with? Useful stuff or stupid stuff, right? So I don't like saying I don't have time anymore. I started consciously saying I do have time. I just haven't allocated it to that. Perfect. But this is 3 seconds. Like, yeah, it works.
It's literally, oh, I'm breathing. Oh, the air's going in. Oh, it's a different temperature than when it came out. That's it.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's all about you, right? You are living your life, right? We are all living our own lives. If we are around people, okay, you know this. If you're around someone who's not living their life, they're talking all these things about you. They're saying all the things that you should do, need to, have to, couldn't do, said you were going to do, didn't. Are they living their life? Not fully. They're actually they're giving their energy to you. So let them learn by example of yourself and what you're doing. So just focus on your breath, and your breath is just going to help you unlock it so much more. And this is your journey. So your journey is going to be different from mine. Your journey is going to be different from Christina's. Christina's is going to be different from everybody else's. Your breath is your key to your journey.
Thank you so much. And what would you say to someone that tends to be, I mean, I feel like you and I feel like we have an easy time talking because we do have, I would say, I would assume that you, as well as myself, we have a slightly more like optimistic view of things. But for someone that does feel like they are a innately negative person, I mean, these people, they're good people, but they're just like always like, they're like the Eeyore character in Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. Like it just happens. Like they just automatically think the negative. Can they change that? Or like, do you have anything that you can say to that person?
Yeah. And then again, everybody's different, right? So just the first thing that's coming to me, if someone came to me and they're like this and they're ready to change, the thing is they need to be ready to change, ready to shift. It's a conversation that's going to poke at them. Okay. So if you're one of these people, I'm going to poke at you a little bit and know that this is coming from a place where once we get through the poking, you will allow yourself to step more into who you are. So if you consider yourself negative, think about the people in your life who are negative, who you grew up with, what do they say, what have they told you your whole life, and match it up to the things that are currently coming out of your mouth. Our minds are literally filing cabinets of what it wants to hold. So some people have selective hearing, our minds have selective memory. And it's those statements and those types of heavy, words that create an emotional, like, it creates an emotional wave in our body when we're younger, and our mind wants to hold on to that because of the emotional thing that it picked up. And then as we grow up, just like, if you're moving, you go, you purge your closet, you look at things you want to keep and what you want to sell, donate. But when we grow up, we don't do that with our thoughts. And now that you're ready to shift your mindset and shift the way that you show up in the world, it's time to go through those things and find out who was telling you that you weren't good enough. Who's telling you that you should do all of these things? Because those things are now imprinted in your memory unknowingly, so much so that you're speaking that to other people. And if you don't want to do that anymore, and if you want to stop doing that, allow the source, right? Let's say it's like your mom who's very critical. Allow yourself to connect those things to mom and then mentally give it back to her. Because you can't become the person you want to be if you're still acting like the person that you no longer want to be.
Wow, thank you. That's very helpful too.
And
I noticed that something that you help us put into perspective time and time again is like the reason why these thoughts exist, and kind of like understanding that they aren't always based in reality. It helps us to be able to say like, okay, I'm going to pick and choose like what I really make my reality,
Yes. And I only talk about and speak about and teach about things that I've experienced myself and things that I have done myself, because I can't teach something I haven't done. Otherwise, there's no integrity with that, right? So just know that where I'm at now is a place that I was so far away from before. Again, this is like my after, but also my before to what's coming. So remember that that's the same for you too, right? We're all works in progress. We're always under construction. And this present moment, you are no longer who you were, and you are in the process of becoming who you want to be, wherever you are. That's a fact. Where you are now is on the path of who you're becoming.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
It is. It is exciting. It is exciting. And I started to say things out loud too, more about, where I see myself going. And in the beginning, it's kind of like embarrassing because like you'll be talking to like your friend or like a family member. And you're like, yeah, I'm doing like X, Y, and Z. And they're like, okay, oh, that's great. But I feel like it makes it more real. It just makes it more real,
Yeah. Yep.
It's so true. So can we talk about self-love? And I know that self-love is a term that we've been through. I feel like everyone's throwing it around left and right, and it's such an important term, but it's almost become like watered down because of how much we're talking about it, which is, it's not bad that we keep talking about it, but I just really want to look at it for how important of a thing it really is. So you recently came on your Instagram discussing self-love as an ongoing and required process. I think that we all have tendencies to be hard on ourselves and compare ourselves to others. I don't know that we all make self-love a priority, but can you explain to us the importance of this? And you had an interesting metaphor that you used on your Instagram that I don't know if you want to use the same metaphor or a different one now, but it was just like really helpful to put into perspective why it's so important. So could you share that with our audience?
Yes, I will. So self-love also is a journey. And for women, it's huge because we are the nurturers. We are the lovers of this planet. There's another level of self-love that happens when you become a mother. So for those of you who are moms, there's another layer, and I'm going to touch on both of them. But really, self-love is really about loving yourself. But, and I rarely use the word but when you don't know who you are, you have no idea what to do with the love and who to give it to or what to do with it. So the the foundation of self-love is discovering who you are by first discovering who you're not. So you get to play with those voices again and realize that they're not you. Your mother's voice or your dad's voice who's in there being critical, that's not you, okay? That's not you. Whatever they're saying is not true. Who you are is who you are, and art is in the present. So in this moment, as you're listening to this, who you are is who you are. And you have to love that person that you are right now. That's it. You are right now the only thing that exists. You are the only version that exists. So love this version of you. And how do you love that person? You pretend that you're not you. You pretend that you're one of your friends and you're outside of yourself and you're looking at yourself and you ask, what does she, if you're a girl, what does she need? Oh, she needs a hug. Oh, she needs a massage. Oh, she needs a hair treatment. Oh, she needs to get her nails done, right? Like if you were taking care of your friend, like, girl, let me get you back up to whatever it is. What does she need? You then do that for yourself. Oh, she needs a bath. Girl, you need to relax. Like, go take a bath. Go give yourself a bath. And why is that so important? It's because, like I was saying earlier, you have to create this positive energy within yourself if you're here to help people. Because if you are not taking care of yourself and you're putting everybody in front of you, like I used to, you're putting everybody in front of you, and then you're on the back burner and you're not okay until everybody else is okay, then you can focus on yourself. That's completely backwards. And here's why. Because if you're here to take care of others and you're giving from an empty cup, right? You're giving from the empty fuel tank, you're just giving away fumes. How far is that help and that effort actually going to go once you pass it off? The magic happens when you pour into your own cup. So what does that mean? It means love yourself. It means take yourself out. It means, love your natural curly hair. It means give yourself a bath. It means eat food that's going to really take care of your physical body. Okay? Do that. Love yourself so much that your love goes up, 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 up until it's full. And then you're still going to give yourself more love. So you're still going to pour into that. And then guess what? That love overflows out into the cups of others. That's how this works. And if you're here to help others, you have to help yourself first. Just like in the plane, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help the child. Because what happens if you help the child and you knock out, then you can't help them anymore. So love yourself. Take care of yourself in whatever way that means to you, so that how you show up moves mountains, okay? Passes miles and miles and miles and just keeps going, okay? Then that person doesn't have to keep coming to you for more fumes. They begin to refill themselves and it keeps moving forward and forward and forward like that. If you don't take care of yourself, that negativity, that being hard on yourself, it's like walking through a forest and walking through bushes and trees and those leaves of like, I'm not good enough, or I'm tired, or I'm hungry, and they're just sticking on you. And you're like, okay, I'm so done. I need to get in the car and go home and wash this all off. Okay, you sit in the car, you're driving home. I'm going to get in the shower. I'm going to feel so much better. And you take your shower. You feel good. Yay, awesome. Oh, I need to get groceries. You get back in the car. Guess what? Those leaves, those needles, those twigs are going to be back on your new clean outfit, and they're still going to be around. So this is why you have to keep cleansing yourself. You have to keep giving yourselves those baths. You have to keep like really paying attention to like what's around you, what kind of information you're taking in, and just, having your own back. Just have your own back.
That's so beautiful too, and so true. I just feel like that's so true in so many ways. And I love the metaphor you use of walking through the forest, because it's just so easy to visualize that, like, it's true, like that stuff sticks around, so you want to always be making a conscious effort to be replenishing and cleansing yourself, like you said. It's so true.
Yeah.
Something that I think is so interesting, and this was something that you and I were recently talking about with respect to nonverbal communication. I feel like something that's very interesting is how heavily humans rely on verbal communication. And it seems like so many other like species and walks of life communicate non-verbally, or maybe even more so with like body language or energy. Could you give us some thoughts on why this might be, and when we're manifesting, if we do need to be using verbal words?
Ooh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. So remember that we were born on this planet with these physical bodies, with these physical, minds, this hardwired DNA. And then I also mentioned like 2020, 21, 22 and beyond, like we're in a new world. Okay. So I'm gonna go there now. Okay. So put on your spaceship seatbelts, because we're going out there right now. This world is considered 3D. Okay. So three-dimensional, right? Physical. And this is why we feel the need to verbalize everything and communicate with words and this type of communication, because it's of the senses, of the speaking, hearing senses, right? Interestingly enough, like you said, like animals, they don't have full-on English conversations. They can just look at each other, or like thoughts. And what's interesting too, because I have young babies, they do the same thing. They don't need to have conversations to get you to know what they want.
Right.
And if you're a mother, like when you look at your baby, or they're looking at you, like, oh, she wants her blanket, or oh, she's thirsty. Like, you just know. And it is this elevation past the 3D, which is now the 4D. This is the emotional space where we can just feel like, you walk into your room and like if the vibes are good or if the vibes are bad, or you're like near somebody and you're like, I just like your vibe. Like, that's the 4D. That is the energy piece where you don't have to say anything. You just know it's all good, or you don't have to say anything and it's terrible and you just want to step out. This is where we're moving to. Okay. This is where we're moving, where we can tune into what is unseen and know that it's real because we're experiencing it. And the past mind, like the ego and all that stuff, it is all about, I need to see it to believe it. That's that mindset. Whereas now we're actually shifting and we're flipping that around, and it is now, I need to believe it to see it. And this is where manifesting happens. And this is how it happens. It's by first seeing it in your mind and then allowing it to happen. So if you are still believing that you need to see it to believe it, you need to hear it, you need to speak it, all those things, like, know that there's more than one way to communicate what you want. And also know that everything is infinite, okay? And just become open to taking in information in new ways, taking in new information in new ways and from new sources, and know that, again, everything's always working out for you. So just give yourself the space and the grace to expand what you think is possible, and then just watch everything unfold.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And could we talk about morning rituals for a minute? Do you have a morning ritual? And if so, could you tell us what it is?
Okay, I love this. So 2 things. Morning rituals actually begin with the night ritual. Okay. And here's the thing. I don't have a morning ritual because for me, it's so like the idea is so like should, have to, need to, and it's very like, and for me, it's really like an open flow. So again, starts at night. So at night, I review my day. I do a clearing, which is a Hawaiian healing practice called Ho'oponopono. You can look at that online on YouTube, or if you've watched, it's actually, they talk about it in the movie Finding Ohana, the more recent one that came out. So I clear the day, and then I allow myself to rest with gratitude. So I like give myself that space. In the physical though, I do my skincare routine, I do all those things, but I really just like take care of myself, right? Give my energy to myself. And then I go into bed like that, where I'm clear, I take care of myself, and then I rest. And then when I wake up, it's just, again, continuing from the night routine. Rest, love myself, just keep my energy to myself, and then move from there. So everybody's different. The way that they give themselves energy is different. If you want to meditate, do that. If you want to do yoga, do that. If you want to read something, if you want to journal, do that. And my morning and evening routine, they fluctuate all the time. And sometimes I meditate, sometimes I read a book, sometimes I do a tarot card reading, sometimes I go outside for a walk, sometimes I've driven to the beach to watch the sunrise. But whatever it is, it always fits under the umbrella of giving the energy to myself. And why do I do that? Because for such a long time, I didn't. I gave my energy away. I would wake up to a crying baby, and that's how I would start my day. And I was just behind all day and just giving on empty, right? And I was like, no, I got to change this. Just like my ex-boyfriend situation, I got to change this. And once you start becoming really intentional with what you're doing, where you're putting your energy, who you're allowing to give energy to you, and who you're allowing yourself to give energy to, everything changes. So the beauty with morning and evening routine is it gives you a space to become consistent with that.
I love that. And I love that you don't have like a very specific regimented morning routine, which is kind of nice to hear because everyone's kind of like trying to sell like a routine for something. I kind of love that you are saying that it can be whatever you intuitively like want to do on any one given day. So thank you for that. I mean, it's always nice to hear that there is like flexibility in the ideal lifestyle. So that was really cool. What would you say to someone who doesn't believe that they can manifest a dream life? They don't believe in the power of their thoughts. They kind of are just like, I'm showing up, I'm going to work, and I'm going home, and that's it. Like, what would be something that you could share with them that would change their life?
Well, if you don't believe that you can, then you won't. It's simple as that. And if you want to change your life, then you have to change what you believe. The problem is that we're so attached to our beliefs, just like I was, that you think that you can't change them. But an idea or a visual that came to me, and I thought it was cute because you're a realtor, is if you see, and this is like a lot of houses out here in Hawaii, there's a lot of hills. So a lot of houses are built on hills. And there's houses that are built, and then you can see like there's a balcony which is like the same level as the ground, but then there's another balcony down below, and then there's like sticks, right? So if you're like, no, I can't, change anything with my house because it was built in 1940 and that's just the original, it has to stay. It's like, well, look at the house over there. Like they got upgraded to, I don't know, steel or something. And it's like more supportive. Well, then the landslide happens or like a big storm happens. And then the upgraded house is still standing where the old wooden house from the 1940, like it's now lopsided. And it's like, well, if you just are open to just replacing something that's outdated with something that is actually going to hold, then it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, it's what works, because there is no right or wrong. A right and wrong is a belief, it's a judgment. So take out right and wrong and just look at what is going to work for what I want to create, okay? Do I want to create passive income and infinite abundance? Then is trading in your time for money going to get you there? No. Okay. You have to be open to different sources of income. Okay. Side hustle or side job, or finding ways to create income passively by giving positive energy out in a way that doesn't require your time. So we have to get out of the box, right? We have to break those paradigms because we are in a new world. So if you want to change your life, but you don't believe in the power of your thoughts, then you have to change how you think about your thoughts, because remember, those thoughts come from the DNA with the saber-toothed tiger, whereas you are the creator. And again, you just have to step into that space, because it's all about not just changing your mind, but it's elevating past your mind, because you're greater than your mind.
Thank you so much for that. And I know we could talk for hours. I would love to talk to you for hours upon hours. But I want to be cognizant of your time. I know that we're pushing it. And for everyone listening too, I don't want to go too long. So if we could just wrap up with a couple more things, I would love that. Let's talk about angels. I would love to talk about angels really quickly. Do you have an open line of communication with angels, and do you see signs from them, and do you feel that they guide you?
I love this, because the answer is yes And we all do. Again, it's like just expanding past what we think is true or right and just allowing what is and allowing what feels good. I didn't know that I had a communication with angels until I allowed myself to. And it's not like I'm working and then they like float into my thing and like tell me things. That's not how they show up for me. Actually, they show up in numbers. They show up in repeating numbers, things like 111 or 1111, 222, 333, 888, 555, 999. Different things. Also 1234, like numbers in consecutive or repeating numbers, or numbers of my birthday, right? So I'll see 1231. My birthday is New Year's Eve. So I'll see like 1231. I'm like, oh, my birthday time. And I just think like, the angels or guides, they're just guiding me to look at, the clock, or they're guiding this car that has 888 in the license plate to just pass me as a reminder to me of like what's happening or what's coming, or a confirmation of something that I'm going through. And how they guide me is just, it's literally through numbers. So I got a lot of questions of, I just saw 333, what does that mean? Or I've been seeing 222 everywhere, what does that mean? And they come to me because I talk about these things. However, I don't have all the answers. Remember, you are the powerful creator. So what I did is I'll Google angel number 222 or repeating number 222, and then I know that whatever website or blog comes up, whichever one I choose, there is the message meant for me that day. And then I could see, a month later, 222, and I'll Google it, and maybe it's a completely different message, or it's the same message, but it has a completely different meaning than it did when I looked before. So all we have to do to connect to the other side, they're actually all here around us, but to connect to the other side is just allow them to connect with you, because they're all sitting on the sidelines, like filing their nails, like combing their hair, just like waiting until you ask for their help. And the minute you do, they say, angels, I need your help, or angels, thank you for your guidance, or I need some extra support. Like they're at the ready, and we just have to know that.
That's really amazing. That's really amazing. And it's so cool. And it's just so reassuring as well. I know that we know, and like we, I'm sure many people do believe in it, but it's cool just to have it reinforced and, to hear. And to, when it comes to like angel numbers or signs, you can like ask for, right? Like certain specific signs. Like if you want to, yeah. Like if you want not to prove that they're there, it's not like you're challenging being like, oh, prove it to me. But if you're like, I will be like looking out for this specific sign, and if you could show me that this is the sign and that you're here, and then take it for face value. Like when you see it, don't be like, oh, that was a coincidence,
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you ask for a sign, which many people do, and I've done too, it's take it like, oh, they heard me. Okay. Like it's a green light. Like I can dream bigger. I can speak bigger. I can ask for bigger now, versus, oh, no. Like if you're still doubting what you're asking for, then what's going to happen when you doubt the $1 million that comes into your account that you've been manifesting, right? You're going to be like, oh, I don't think it's real. No, you're going to be like, hell yeah. Like you got to do the same thing with the small white candle that you manifested as well.
Yeah, it's so, so, so true. And like really quick, one of the last things we'll talk about is, it's so easy to want to open ourselves up to all the nice things about the spiritual world. But how do you feel about like the hesitation associated with like, you don't want to run into anything bad, right? Like you open yourself to one side. Like what about the bad side? Like, do we have to worry about that? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And that's why I have my crystals with me. But also you don't need crystals. You just need the intention. You just need the pure intention. So if you're like, okay, I want, because this was me for a long time too. I wanted connection with the other side and the angels, but I was scared of like what I could see. So I said things like, okay, angels, I'd like some guidance, but I don't want to see you. Because I was scared, right? So I was scared. So because there's a negative in it, like I don't want to see you, then it just kind of cancels the whole thing. So if you want to like step into this, infinite world of love and light and positivity and spirituality and infiniteness, you have to know that there's another side to it. All you have to do is just focus on what you want and just let what you don't want to just not even be anywhere in your vicinity. What I would do if you like want to do this by yourself and you don't want to be around like the negative stuff, it's, well, first you got to like feel good about yourself. So do the breathing technique, which gets you to neutral, really. And then from there, focus on what you want, period. Just focus on that. It's like if you go to a restaurant and you want you want a specific table and you're like, oh, can I have the table in the back patio open? I'll take the one by the rose bush. I'm like, yeah, sure. But then if you go in and you're like, hi, I don't want to sit inside because I don't like the noise and I don't want to be in the dark and I feel like I don't want the people walking around me all the time. Like, is there something that you have, but I don't want to feel like this? The hostess is going to be like, yeah, and they're just going to be confused. So same thing when you're like manifesting, speaking to the other side, just like speaking to other people in general, just get really specific with what you want and just do that.
I love that. Thank you so much. That was like really, really, very, really intuitive. Just makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
You want, just focus on what you want. That's it. Just focus on what you want.
Yeah. I like that so much. I feel like we often get so caught up with what we don't want, and it comes into play in everything, you know? So that was really cool too. It's just like, focus on the good, focus on the light, focus on what you want. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. That's going to get you there.
Yeah, right. I love it. Yeah. So I don't want our audience to forget that you do one-on-one coaching. You're so powerful and your work is amazing. You are taking new clients, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So can you let our audience know the best ways to reach you? If there's anything that you would like to mention to the audience as far as what you do offer on your one-on-one coaching sessions, and maybe even like how you structure it or anything you want to share with them?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, How to Manifest. I'm there like every day, putting some good stuff out there. Aloha vibes, my kids, any messages that I get, just a lot of fun stuff that's really empowering to you as you are moving forward in your journey. And that's the best place to reach me right now. I'm also working on my website. So depending on when you listen to this, it's lizellezeager.com. And right now I'm actually having a wait list for a 5-day challenge that I'm doing. And it's going to be running continuously. So check in there and check in on that. It's a 5-day manifesting money challenge where I help you manifest abundance in 5 days or less.
Oh my God.
So hop on that. That's going to be out there for you guys. I just wanted to make manifesting accessible to everybody and just make it a lot of fun. So I dive really deep into the different topics that we went over. And then also for one-on-one coaching, I do small, like little one-off calls where if you just need some guidance, I do tarot card readings. I do like a free your mind map session where I just get into your head. Well, you let me get into your head and I help you organize the thoughts, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're a leader or a CEO and you just have so many things that you want to do, but then there's business and there's personal and there's like all this other stuff. Like, it'll benefit you to have somebody outside who can look and also give you guidance along the way. So I do that. And then I also do life path readings where I help you really discover who you are, release who you're not, and allow yourself to walk forward on your path. Above that, there's just different packages depending on what your goal is. And then I also help people build and grow their businesses through manifesting. So that's what my mentorship is about. And then at the end, I do one-on-one deep dive transformational coaching where I work with my clients for 6 months and we just dive in and just transform their life in 6 months. So that's the type of work that I do. I'm here to change lives and this is what's happening. And my intention is really like, be the pebble, be the pebble, be the pebble, be the pebble, and give that person, everybody, the opportunity to be their own pebble and let that energy just go, 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 go out into the world.
Amazing. Amazing. It's like one step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Again, follow Lizelle at How to Manifest on Instagram. Check out her website. You do Instagram lives that are really cool. They're just so fun. I just get like a warm feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but when I see you like pop up on a live, I'm like, ooh, yeah, like let's do it. It's just something about your personality. It comes through. It's going to come through in the audio. It's going to come through in the video. You have a very welcoming and positive and inclusive nature about you. It just feels, everything just feels right. It's just so nice. So I look forward to seeing you on my, pop up on my feed all the time. So thank you so much. And I'm going to include all of your contact info, everything that you mentioned. You mentioned a couple of resources as well. I will link them in the descriptions here. And we thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to chat with you and share my story. And really, there was a moment there also where I was activating everybody who's listening. And so thank you for allowing me into your space, into your heart, into your life. And I hope that this is just, the beginning, because we're here to do some big things. Me and you, Christina, and also listeners, you're here to do some big stuff. So it's all about collaboration. Get out of your safety net, get out of your cave, and come out here and play. It's time to play.
Yes, thank you. I mean, this audience is a very special audience. And as it's growing, I'm just so thrilled to see where this audience goes, because we're sticking together. We have a similar mindset, and it's just so amazing. So we're so glad that you're a part of it, and we're really looking forward to this ongoing relationship. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for manifesting me into your life. And I'm just so excited for what's next.
Guys, I'm sure that you got as much out of this episode as I did. This was just such a phenomenal conversation with Lizelle. And I wanted to remind you before you head out to please like and subscribe. It's so important because it really helps spread the word about this content. Thank you guys so much, and stay tuned for the next episode.